Today, we're going to be talking about motivation and why it can't be relied on. Now, this isn't a very complicated subject, so I'm just going to keep it very, very simple. Now, before I get to any of that, there are a few links in the description you should check out. If you're kind of a dabbler into tabla, you practice sometimes, you want to be a part of a few discussions, then there's a Discord community link. That's perfect for you. And if you're serious about tabla, you're thinking a year out, you want to pay for classes a year out from now, then there's a link in the description to a school community. There you'll find people all around the world just like you, serious about this instrument. Now, let's get into it. I recently had a conversation with a student and they were talking about how they struggled to find motivation. Now, there's a bit of a confusion if you go on the internet, because type in motivational video on YouTube, you'll find videos with probably over 100 million views on them. People think motivation is really what it takes, and that's just not the case. For most tabla players, really including me, if I played when I was motivated or just divinely inspired, let's call it that, that would mean I played 3-4 days out of a month. I just can't rely on that. What I can rely on is the fact that I've decided I'm going to play. Therefore, I'm going to be consistent. I will apply a little bit of discipline. I'm not going to overly apply discipline because it is an art at the end of the day, but I will be consistent with it because I've decided. Now, the problem is a lot of people decide they're going to play tabla, then they play for some time, and then maybe they say, hey, maybe piano would be great or sitar. The thing is, every time you jump ship to something else, you kind of lose self-esteem within yourself. And that's something very important because that really controls your sense of belief in yourself, all sorts of things. And the other thing is when you jump to something else, let's say it's like sitar or something, the grass always looks greener on the other side. Sitar will look so interesting when you're 6 months into tabla practicing hard. Oh, look at them. They just pluck strings and they get so much attention. But once you're into that for a year or two, you'll be right at the same position. So you may as well decide to play tabla, be consistent, and be disciplined. And tabla is something that on the front end does require a bit of energy, a bit of intention, but then on the back end, a few years into it, you will feel such a joy that joy that I get from tabla is the whole reason I created these communities and this channel. Even when I try to put it in words, I just stop. I really can't really describe it, to be honest. Now, I'm also going to show you one thing, which is my teacher talking about me during my tabla recital when I was about 17 or 16. And I had played tabla for about 10 or 11 years at this point. And I could kind of describe to you how passionate or how interested I was in tabla at the time. But the way that he describes it is just the best way I could explain it. So let's take a look at that and then we'll wrap up this video.
Like asking me about compositions. One Saturday night, a couple of years ago, he just called me late night, I think after 12, and then probably sent me some kind of link for a YouTube link about some great video he just saw. So I thought that, okay, it's 12:30 in the night, so I don't know whether to be happy that he's so dedicated to music. So I didn't know whether to be very, very happy or should be worried that he's a teenager and doing instead of playing with other stuff or doing his own stuff usually teenagers do in a Saturday night. So I was kind of surprised, but it felt good. Prashant?
All right. So I just wanted to show you guys that briefly. And what the point really is after years and years of just consistency, I finally did feel that feeling of motivation but it's not what was there initially. So for those of you that are kind of depending on feeling motivation and then you start practicing, it really doesn't work that way. Consistency and a bit of discipline are really what will carry you so far. And I just wanted to show that video. Now, I wasn't wearing headphones, so I couldn't exactly hear when to stop it. But the point is that my level of interest in tabla over time grew so much. Even my teacher was surprised that, what is this guy doing on a Saturday night? No other teenager is up at 1 a.m. watching tabla videos on YouTube. And that interest came over time. And that's the message that I want to leave with you today. Thank you.